Welcome back YouTube, we have Ahmed again from In-Depth Tech Reviews, and in today's video I'm going to show you everything you need to know about iOS 14. I'm not going to only focus on the main changes, but I'm going to also make it as detailed as possible, and I have it here on my iPhone 11 Pro Max. So let me show you what's new with iOS 14, but before getting started, let's make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified every time I post a new video. So let's jump in. I know iOS 14 came with a lot of nice features like the widgets and the picture-in-picture, app clips and the app library, and I have seen a lot of videos talking about these features already. So I decided to start with the other features that you can barely see in other videos, and then I'm going to talk about those obvious changes that everybody should know about if you watched the WWDC event. So I will start with the camera. And the first change you will see here, if you take a look closely at the top right corner, you will see a green dot indicating that your camera is now active. And when you switch between modes, it turns to orange for a few seconds, which means it's preparing for something, and then turns back to green. The next feature is the improved shot-to-shot performance. And with iOS 14, you can take photos 90% faster than iOS 13, which means you can take up to 4 frames per second if you kept hitting the shutter key in the photo mode. So now if you kept hitting the shutter key so quick, it still can handle this excessive amount of photos, so you will not miss a shot. Also in portrait mode, it's improved by 15%. If you're gonna keep hitting the shutter key, that should be improved by 15%. And if you're gonna take the photo for the first time, that will be 25% faster. But there is one thing you need to keep in mind. If you go to the iOS 14 preview website and scroll down to the very bottom of the page, you will see point number 16 saying that this feature is only tested on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is similar to the one I have here. And it has the live photos enabled and the battery health supporting peak performance. But it's not yet tested on other models, and they're also saying that this feature changes based on your usage, based on your battery health, based on environmental factors. So it will not always be like this, but for now, in my testing, it's working really well. You can also turn this feature on and off under settings. So if you go to your camera settings and then take a look at the bottom, you will see a new option here called Prioritize Faster Shooting. And if you have it turned on, that's when you can use the feature. And you can turn it off. I'm not sure exactly why you need to turn it off, but maybe if your battery health is not that good and you by mistake kept pressing the shutter key, your phone might restart unexpectedly. So you have it here under settings if you don't need it. Next, the improved night mode. If you are using iPhone 11 or iPhone 11 Pro that supports night mode, you will get 2 extra features. And here I'm covering my lens to activate the night mode. And once you hit the shutter key, the phone will use the gyroscope of your phone to determine if you are holding your phone still or not. So as you see, those 2 plus signs appeared on the screen and they are not aligned together, which means I'm not holding my phone steady. But once I hold it steady in the right spot, the 2 plus signs will disappear. So this is going to help me while taking a shot with this long exposure to keep it in place all the time. And the second thing you can do is the ability to stop the capture in the middle, but I couldn't find any option to do that. Even if I hit the shutter key one more time or this icon, nothing happens. But I found if I started a shot and went to the home screen and then opened the camera back, I still can see the photo in my gallery. But I'm sure Apple should include a kind of a switch or something to stop it, but maybe it's a bug in this beta that will be fixed in the future. Next, the ability to capture quick take videos and burst shots using the volume rockers. In iOS 13, when you click the volume down, you will take a normal shot, but in iOS 14, when you press and hold on the volume down, you will start taking a quick take video, which is limited to 1920 by 1440. Which is different from the normal videos you take in the video mode. This one is limited only to this resolution. And also when you press and hold on the volume up, it will do the exact same thing. However, if you want to activate the burst shots for the volume up key, you need to go to the camera settings and you will see a new option here called Use Volume Up for Burst. And when you turn that on and go back to the camera, press the volume up, it will take burst shots and press volume down, it will take quick take videos. The new volume rockers shortcuts are only supported with iPhone XS, XS Max, XR, and later. Next, the ability to mirror the shots taken with your front-facing camera. So if you are in the front-facing camera taking a shot, and if you want to mirror this shot, you can go now to your camera settings one more time. And then you will have a new option here called Mirror Front Camera. And when you turn that on and return back to your camera, this shot should be now mirrored. So let's take another shot and compare them together. This is the mirrored shot and this is the normal one. Next, the new exposure controls. In iOS 14, you can set your exposure on a certain value throughout your camera session, while at the same time, you can change the exposure and focus to take a specific shot, and the phone will automatically return back to your locked values. So for example, I'm gonna tap on the arrow at the top, and then I'm gonna tap on the exposure icon, and here I'm gonna set the exposure to 1, which is too high, and then I'm gonna take a shot. So that's taken at exposure 1. And if I want to take another shot with different exposure, so I can tap to focus, slide down to decrease the exposure, and then take my shot. And once the phone finishes taking the shot, it will return back to the locked value of my exposure. And it will give you this indication at the top here with the value. As you see here, it says 1. And when you tap on this, it will take you quickly to the exposure slider so you can return back to normal. The new exposure controls are supported on the iPhone XS, XS Max, XR, and later. Also, Apple added 2 extra features to older iPhone models, and the first one is the quick video toggle is now supported by all iPhone models that can run iOS 14. And for iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR, they now can take quick take videos, which was not supported before. And finally, QR code improvements that can make your camera read QR codes better. In addition to the new camera settings I mentioned earlier, there are a couple more. When you go to settings and then go to camera and then go to preserve settings, here you will see 2 new options. One is called creative controls, where you can preserve the last used filter, aspect ratio, light or depth settings. And the other one is for exposure. It will keep the same exposure level you set before, and instead of keep resetting them every time you open your camera app. Next, the Photos app. And here you get a new button at the top. Looks like 3 dots as you see here. And instead of the plus and minus button you get on iOS 13. And when you tap on it, you will see the zoom in and zoom out options, in addition to a new option called Aspect. And when you tap on Aspect, all the videos and photos you have will show in their original aspect ratio. They will not be squares. And if you want to get back to squares, you can tap again on the button and then it chooses square. It will be back to normal. And also you have a new option here called Filter. When you tap on Filter, you have the ability to show only your favorites, edited photos, normal photos, or videos. Or you can also multi-select 2 things at the same time. For example, you can only choose videos, photos and videos, only edited and favorites, and so on. You got the idea. And if you have a filter active, like in this case, you will get a blue filter button at the top. And when you tap on it, it will quickly take you to the filters menu so you can modify them if you want. Also, inside the albums, if you are inside an album, you can zoom in and zoom out. Same behavior we saw in the All Photos tab. Now you can do that in albums, in favorites, in shared albums, or anything in the phone. You can do the exact same behavior to zoom in and zoom out easily without any issues. In iOS 13, you only can do this in the Photos tab. Now in your albums, including the shared ones, you can sort the photos by the newest or the oldest first. And you can do this by tapping the 3 dots at the top, and then you will have something called Sort. And when you tap on Sort, it will ask you, would you like to sort it with the oldest first or the newest first? Next, the ability to search for your photos and videos using captions. So for example, I have this photo here. I can scroll down and then I see the option to add a caption. So I'm adding here iOS 14. As you see here, it says add a caption. All right. And once you add the caption and hit done, you will be able to search for your photos using this caption. So any photo or video that has the same caption will appear in your search. So for example, I'm going to type in iOS, and once I typed iOS, now I see the photo that has the iOS 14 caption. Also, these captions will sync over the cloud. So if you are signed in with your Apple ID and syncing your photos with the iCloud, and you have multiple devices, the captions will sync between your devices as you would expect. Next, the new photo picker. If you are sending an email, for example, and you want to attach a photo or a video, you will see this new photo picker where you can multi-select photos and they will be added to the body of the email. And once you untick, it will disappear. So that's an easy way for multi-selection. Also, if you want to search for a specific photo of a person using a specific caption or whatever you want, you can tap on all photos and you will get the search bar, so you can choose what type of photo you want to attach to your email. So here I'm typing bird. I got all the photos with birds. I'm typing iOS 14, which is my caption, and I'm getting the photo I want. And also you can go to albums. So you have another tab at the top called albums. So again, you can go to it and pick a photo from your albums, which is really nice. I do like this feature and it's gonna save a lot of time. Now let's talk about Siri. And the first thing you get is the new compact design. So what's the weather now? So as you see, the Siri icon at the bottom, and here you have the results as a notification. And if you tap on the notification, it will show you the full details of the weather. If you go back, you will get the notification again and the Siri icon waiting for more questions. So if you decided to ask another question related to what you see on the screen, it will still understand what you are asking for. So for example, what about tomorrow? So now it understands I'm talking about the weather. And another example here, if you are in the mail app, for example, and you said send a new one, it will understand that you want to send an email, not something else. Send a new one. So it's now opening the mail app, and if I do the same thing in messages, send a new one, it will send a message. So it understands more what's on the screen and acts accordingly. Next, the ability to send voice messages. So let me give you a demo here. Send a voice message.
Who do you want to send it to?
Imad.
Okay, recording.
This is a test message. So as you see here, I recorded the message and I can listen to it if I want to.
This is a test message.
Before sending the message, or I can just say send after pressing and holding on the Siri button. Cancel.
Okay, let me know if there's anything else you need.
You also get features like sharing your ETA with a contact if you are navigating to a location, the ability to ask for directions if you are using a bicycle. You can also translate in 65 different languages. And the new natural voice of Siri that we saw in iOS 13 is now available for more countries. And finally, it's smarter and it can understand more complicated questions. Next, the improved Spotlight search. Now, when you search for anything, you will get results from pretty much all your apps, including the web as well. So for example, I typed here the word Stadia and it's showing me the web results in addition to the search in my mail app, because I know I received an email from Stadia. So now I can easily get it from the Spotlight search instead of opening the app itself. Or I can type a name of a contact, like my name, for example, and it will search for me in the contacts without opening the app. And also I can search in messages, calendar, mail, and contacts. So the search is improved and you can pretty much search everywhere of your phone for a specific thing. Now let me show you what are the changes under settings, and here I have iOS 13.5.1 on the iPhone 7 Plus and iOS 14 on the 11 Pro Max. And I'm going to show you some changes under settings in general, and there are also some app-specific changes that I'm going to leave until I go through the app itself to avoid any confusion. So now let's start with the Apple ID settings. And the first change you will see here that the iTunes and the App Store option is now called Media and Purchases. And when you go inside each one, you will see different stuff. So for example, here you will see the Apple ID is in blue and here is in black and light gray, and both of them do different things. When you tap here, you will get a list of options to choose from, view Apple ID, sign out, and so on. But here you go directly to appleid.apple.com to reset your Apple ID password. And here you also get options like manage payments, country or region, add funds to Apple ID, ratings and reviews, and all these options you can go to in iOS 13.5 by tapping on View Apple ID, which is no longer the case. You have them straight away once you go inside Media and Purchases. While here you have settings related to automatic downloads, cellular data downloads, video autoplay, offload, unused apps, and so on. So it's a totally different approach here. And also there is a new option here called the hidden purchases. And you can check your hidden purchases from your iOS device in iOS 14. And currently, to check your hidden purchases, you have to do that on a Mac or a PC using the iTunes app or the Music app. So that's a really welcomed addition. It's gonna save a lot of time. Also keep in mind that in iOS 14, when you access Media and Purchases, it will ask you to authenticate using your Face ID or your passcode. While here, you can go to the same menu without any authentication, but because they have different options, here you can do changes to the Apple ID, which makes sense to ask for authentication. While here, you cannot do changes to the Apple ID, but it will ask you to enter your password only when you tap on the Apple ID and then view Apple ID. So those are two different approaches. The second change here is under Wi-Fi. When you go to Wi-Fi on both devices, you will see different stuff. Let me zoom in a little bit. As you see here, I get a privacy warning, while here I'm connected to the same network without any warnings. And when I tap on the information icon to go inside the network settings, I have here a privacy warning at the top saying private Wi-Fi address is disabled by default for this network as it may not be supported. While here, there is also a new option called use private address, and it's giving my phone a Wi-Fi address, and it's showing the address right here. And it says that this feature will not allow operators to track your phone, but because it's not supported on my network, it's giving me a privacy warning, while here you don't have this option and you don't get any warnings regarding your privacy. Next, there is a new option under notifications, Siri suggestions, and you will see here you have something called suggestions on lock screen, while this option is missing from here. Next, there is a new option under sounds and haptics. It's called reduce loud sounds, which is not here in iOS 13.5. And when you go inside the option, you will see some definition here. It says that iPhone can analyze your headphone audio and reduce any sound that is over a set decibel level. And when you turn it on, you can set the maximum decibel level for your headphones, and any sound exceeding this level will be handled by the system to avoid harming your ears. And if you want to know more about the decibel levels, you can tap on Learn More. You will get an article to share with you some information, and also it will give you a hint here saying that 80 decibels is as loud as a noisy restaurant, and when you take it down to 75, it will tell you as loud as a vacuum cleaner, and so on. So you will get an idea about how loud this sound to your ears. Next, there is a new option under software update. When you go to general and then go to software update, here you have two different names. First, it says here customize automatic updates, and here it says automatic updates. And when you go inside, you will see different switches here. Here you have one switch to turn on if you want to install updates automatically. The phone will download them and install them automatically. While here you have the chance to choose which step to be done automatically and which one to be done manually. So for example, you can turn on download iOS updates, but you don't want them to be installed automatically, you want to do it yourself, or you can choose to do both of them all together, or you can turn off the whole thing. And here there is a new menu item called home screen. When you go inside home screen, you will see some settings for your app library. So for example, when you install a new app, would you like the app to show up only in the app library or also to show up on your home screen? When you set it on home screen, it will show up in your app library and on your home screen, or you can choose your app library only. Here you can also turn on and off the option to show notification badges in your app library by using this switch. And that's pretty much it. Next, the new wallpapers. When you go to wallpaper here and then choose a new one, you will see under stills, there are some new wallpapers that came with iOS 14. Next, control center. In iOS 13.5, to modify your controls, you have to go to customize controls first, but here you have all the controls available once you open the control center menu, and that's gonna save you one step. And here you also have something called show home controls, and that include recommended controls for home accessories and scenes when your iPhone is at home. So that will add some controls for your home smart devices so you can access it from your control center. And also if you take a look here at the bottom, you will see something called sound recognition. And sound recognition is a new control that you can add to your control center. And this is a new accessibility feature that you can find under accessibility and then sound recognition. And here you can turn it on or off and also choose what type of sounds you want the phone to detect. Is it fire alarm? Is it siren, smoke, a cat, dog, and so on. And once the phone detects any of these unusual sounds, it will give you some kind of notification to help you out stay away from any danger. Next, Siri and search. When you go to Siri and search on both devices, here you will have Siri feedback, while here you have voice feedback. And when you go inside, you will see here you have a sub-menu item called voice feedback, which is the same name right here. Also, the three voice feedback options are different. Here you have always, here you have always on, here you have with silent mode off or with, and then the magic word, and here you have it control with ring switch. Here you have only with the magic word, and here you have hands-free only. So the three options are different on both devices. Also, you get two extra toggles here. One is called always show Siri captions, and when you turn that on, you should see the dialogue of Siri on the screen, and when you turn it off, it should go away. And the same thing for your speech. If you're gonna talk to Siri, you will see your speech showing on the screen, and when you turn it off, it also goes away. However, I found the second one, which is always show speech, works perfectly well. When you put it on and off, it responds, but this one doesn't respond. I can always see captions for Siri, even I have the switch turned off. There is also a new option under Siri and search. If you take a look here under Siri suggestions, now you have a new toggle called suggestions when sharing, which is missing from iOS 13, and it's giving you here a definition saying that Siri can make suggestions in apps when sharing and when you use search, lookup, and keyboard. Next, in iOS 14, there is a new menu item here called App Store, while here in iOS 13.5, you have iTunes and App Store. And when you go here, it's exactly the same menu we saw under the Apple ID settings, but when you go here in iOS 14, you will see the controls that were missing from the Apple ID settings will show up here. So for example, automatic downloads is now showing here, and app updates, so you can turn them on. Here's the cellular data, which is similar to this one right here, cellular data. And you also can choose automatic downloads and the sizes of apps. While here you have music, apps, books, and audiobooks, but here you only have apps and app updates. And the icons on the left side are now not showing on iOS 14. The next change here is under passwords. If you take a look here on iOS 14, it's now called passwords, while here it's called passwords and accounts. And there's major differences here. When you go to passwords and accounts, here you can see the websites and app passwords, autofill passwords, and then your accounts, which are your emails, and some settings related to these accounts. While here on iOS 14, it's only for passwords. And when you go inside this section, you have to authenticate first. And there is a good reason for that. So let me authenticate. And you need to authenticate because once you go inside this menu, you will see your passwords straight away where you can tap on it and see it. While here, you need to authenticate after tapping on website and app passwords. So we saw something similar under the Apple ID menu as well. Once you go inside, here you have autofill passwords, which is the same, but it doesn't have an icon. Here you have security recommendations, and this is actually a new feature in Safari that automatically monitor the passwords you have saved in Safari and give you some suggestions if the password you are using is kind of weak password and it might lead to any data breach. So Safari will give you some security recommendations under the passwords menu. And when it comes to accounts settings that you see here under passwords and accounts of iOS 13, you can access it by going to the Mail app settings, and here you see accounts. When you tap on it, you will get the exact same settings. Here you have the 3 accounts. In my case, I have the 3 accounts, and here I have the fetch new data options, which exactly the same one as in iOS 13. Also here, when you go to the Mail app settings on both devices, you will see some different options. When you go to Siri and search, here you have a new option under in search called Suggest Shortcuts for App, which is missing from here. And here also it has different wording. It says Suggest Shortcuts for App, and here it shows Show Siri Suggestions. So some changes in the names and also an extra menu item that you get here. Next, the Maps application settings. I'm not going to talk about the new features in Maps because Maps is restricted in my country, which is UAE, and that's why I'm not going to be able to do so. However, I'm going to show you what are the changes in settings. So when you go to the settings of both apps, here you will get a new preferred type of travel option called cycling, and that's because now Maps supports cycling routes. And the next thing you get here is called directions, while here you have driving and navigation. Here you can go to driving only, and then go to transit only, and then go to cycling only. So you have separated menu items, while here you have driving and navigation. Both are located in the same menu item. So let's say we're gonna go to driving here. You will have tolls, highways, same thing. You have compass and the speed limit, while here you have some voice controls, pause spoken, share ATA, and all this stuff. And you can get this in iOS 14 in a different location, which is called navigation and guidance. Here you can set this information or these settings for all types of navigations, not only for driving like in iOS 13.5. There is also one new option here called Navigation Prompts Wake Device. Here you don't have this option. Also, they are placed in different places. Here you have the navigation voice volume at the top, while here you have it at the bottom because the other driving options are located on the top already. Next, there is a new menu under settings called App Clips. And from here you can remove all app clips, but I couldn't show you how to do this because the feature itself is not yet working. And it says also a definition here says app clips are automatically removed 30 days after they are used. Now let's talk about the home screen changes, and the biggest change is the widgets. In iOS 14, you are not only able to add them to your Today's tab, but now you can add them to your home screen as well. And to achieve this, you need to tap and hold anywhere on an empty space until you access the wiggle mode, or you can tap and hold on any icon to do the same thing. And then you will get the plus sign at the top. Once you tap on it, you will be presented with your widgets gallery. And here you get a preview of your widgets first, which are the ones that you use the most, or they are highlighted based on how you use your phone. So the most important apps, their widgets will appear first. And then if you scroll down, you will see the full list of widgets you have, and you can search through your widgets gallery if you have a lot of them and you want to quickly get access to it. And here you have more than one way to add your widgets. First, you can either drag and drop it from the preview area like this, or you can tap on it first and then choose the size. You have small and medium in this widget. Some widgets like the weather has small, medium, and large. And once you are happy with the size, you can also drag and drop, or you can tap on the add widget button, which is here. And once you add it through the button, it will give a different animation and it will automatically put it on the top. And when you put another one, it will be coming in the next spot and so on. And all the extra apps will be pushed to the next page. Okay. And also, if you want to add a widget from the list at the bottom, you cannot drag and drop directly from the list, but you need to tap on it first, then choose the size, then drag and drop or tap on add widget. Here, there are some widgets that has settings that you can change specifically by tapping on the card. It will flip and show you some extra settings to change. And one of those widgets is the weather. So when you add the weather and then tap on it, you will get this extra settings at the back of the card. It's telling you that the location is Dubai and you can search for different locations and add it to your widget as well. And to add a widget to your Today's tab, you can simply go to the Today's tab area. Let's say if you are not in the wiggle mode already, you can tap and hold on an empty space and then tap on the plus sign. You will be able to add your widget, or you can reorganize them if you want. Or you can remove widgets by tapping the minus sign. So it's the same exact thing, or you can even move widgets from the Today's tab by moving to the edge and put it onto your home screen. The other feature you get with the widgets is the ability to stack up to 10 different widgets on top of each other and save some space on your home screen. So I'm gonna add a couple of widgets here to create a stack manually. And I'm gonna put them on top of each other. They will create the stack, and then I can scroll through my widgets. And when I tap and hold on the current widget, I get the actions related to this widget. For example, if I'm gonna go to music, I get the actions related to music. Here you have more than one thing you can do. First of all, you can remove only this widget from your stack and keep the others. If you have more than two, if you have 3 or 4, you can only remove a specific one by tapping and holding on it. Or you can tap on edit stack, and in this case, you can reorganize your widgets. And again, when you tap and hold, you can either edit your home screen or remove the whole stack from your home screen. You also get an automatically created stack called Smart Stack that you can find in the list of widgets. And it has only 2 different sizes, a small size and medium size. And when you add it to your home screen, it behaves exactly the same as a normal stack that you created yourself, but the widgets selected here are based on how you use your phone or what are the things that matters the most to you. And also, the widget that is currently active on the Smart Stack is based on how you use your phone as well. So for example, in the morning, if you always check the weather when you are at home, so once you unlock your phone in the morning at home, you should see the weather widget. The Smart Stack is still editable. You can edit whatever the system selected for you by tapping and holding on the stack, and then you have the ability to remove certain widgets from it, or you can edit the stack by reorganizing everything. Or you can also remove it from the home screen, and that's pretty much it. And if you want to add extra widgets to your Smart Stack, you can still do this by adding a widget from the same size and then drag it on top of your Smart Stack, and it will be included. And also one more tip that I won't share regarding the widgets: you are not able to stack 2 widgets that have different sizes. So for example, if I'm gonna drag this one on top of the medium size Smart Stack, it will not allow me, all right? They have to be from the same size. Now let me show you how you can organize your home screen in iOS 14. When you access the wiggle mode and tap on this area, you will be presented with all the pages in your home screen where you can show or hide certain pages. And if you decided to hide any page, you still can access your apps from your app library that I'm going to show you later. But let me also show you that I can create an iOS 14 and a blank page like this one. I removed all the icons and widgets from one of my pages and I got a completely blank one. And that wasn't the case with iOS 13. Now, when you scroll to the far right, you will see your app library. And the first thing you get in your app library is the search bar at the top, and once you tap on it, all your apps will be organized in alphabetical order, and you can slide your finger on top of the letters to jump quickly to a specific letter, or you can simply search for the app you want. And also to access the app library search, you can do the same swipe down gesture for accessing your Spotlight search from the home screen, and it will do exactly the same. And here, the first two folders you get are the suggestions and recently added. The suggestions folder is based on how you use your phone. The apps that you use a lot will be included automatically in the suggestions folder. And the recently added folder is for the apps that you just installed on your phone, in addition to your app clips, which is the new feature included in iOS 14. And the rest of apps are created based on the type of app itself. Here you have two ways to launch your apps from the app library. If the icon is big like this one, once you tap on the icon, it will automatically start the application. It doesn't open the folder first. If the icon is small, like in this case, you have a lot of apps under the entertainment section, and when you tap on the small icons, it will show you all the apps inside this folder. Also keep in mind that the folders created in your app library are automated and you cannot do any changes to them. You also cannot reorganize your apps inside the folders. So for example, if you are in the wiggle mode and then try to move Netflix to a different spot inside the folder, you still can't do this, all right? Also, you cannot move apps between folders or anything like that. You cannot create folders on your own. So it's automatically created, and that's the only option you have. And because of the new app library, now when you go to settings, you will see a new option called home screen. And here you have the option to choose what happens when you download a new app, either to only add it to your app library, or you can also add it to your home screen. When you choose add to home screen, it will be added in both. And if you choose app library only, it will not be added to your home screen. Also, here you have another option called notification badges, show in app library. So if you want to show notification badges in your app library as well, you can turn it on from here. Also on iOS 14, you will get this new card when you get an incoming call. It's a lot smaller. It will not distract you from what you are doing. Here you can answer or cancel the phone call. And when you swipe up, it will be minimized and you will get this icon at the top left corner. When you tap on it, it will take you back to the phone app where you can answer or decline. And when you swipe down on the card, you will get access to the full screen mode as well. The same behavior also applies to FaceTime calls and third-party apps, but for third-party apps, developers need to update their apps to match the new compact UI of iOS 14. And because of the new compact UI of the phone app, now when you go to settings and then phone, now you will see different options. And the first one is called notifications. When you tap on it, you get the same notification settings that you get with any other app, where you can choose the banner style, either temporary or persistent, or you can also choose the locations of the banner. Also, when you go back, here you have a new option called incoming calls, and when you tap on it, you can choose between the banner, which is the compact UI, or you can choose the full screen, which is the old design. Now let me show you the new picture-in-picture feature of iOS 14. Here I'm gonna play a video from the TV Plus app, and once the video plays, you will get an icon right here that looks like minimize, and when you tap on it, you will get the floating window on your phone screen. Regardless which app you are using, the window will stick for you to be able to watch whatever you want while doing your stuff. Also, this window is resizable. You can pinch to change its size, and you can place it in most of the areas of your screen, not everywhere of your screen. For example, if the window is very small like this one, you can place it only in the 4 corners. So for example, you can place it bottom right, bottom left, top left, and top right. But if the window is bigger, like this one, you can only place it at the top half or the bottom half of your screen. And if you want to keep playing the video and still keep listening to the audio, you can still minimize it, and it will stay here for you to get back to it anytime. And once you finish what you're doing, you can just drag it out. And that's pretty much it. You can also tap on this icon at the top right corner to return to the application itself, or you can tap on the X to close the picture-in-picture window. Also, the picture-in-picture mode has a new option under settings. So if you go to settings and then general, here you have picture-in-picture, tap on it and you will see this toggle saying start PiP automatically. And if you have it on, if you are playing a video or you are on a FaceTime call and swipe up to your home screen, the phone will automatically turn on the PiP mode. And if you don't want this behavior, simply turn it off from here. Now let's talk about messages. And the first feature you get is the ability to pin conversations to the top area of your app. And you can pin up to 9 different conversations, and that includes any type of conversation, either it's SMS, iMessage or group conversation. All of them will work the same. And for you to pin a conversation, just swipe to the right side on any conversation you want and then tap on the pin icon and it will be pinned. If you want to unpin it, tap and hold on it and you will see unpin. Tap on it, it will return back to its normal place. And when you receive a message from a pinned conversation, you see this small bubble that show you the content of the message. And as you see here, I'm pinning a group conversation and it has small circles inside and each one represent a contact from this group. And every time someone sends a message in the group, they will be presented with a circle here and it keeps changing based on the most recent messages you have received. And you can get up to 3 small circles in this area. And also if you have any iMessage conversation pinned to this area, you should be able to see a little animation if someone is typing something. But I tried that with another iOS 13 device, but this animation doesn't show up. Maybe it's an issue with the beta, or maybe the 2 phones should be on iOS 14. I'm not sure about that, but keep in mind that it doesn't work at the moment. The other 2 features, you get something called mentions and inline replies. So here I have a group I created for the purpose of this video. And here I'm going to show you how to mention someone specifically in the group and also reply to a specific message. So here I have a name called test account and I'm going to type the same exact name. Make sure you don't have a space after the name and it will turn into light gray. Tap on the text area one more time and then you have the profile picture appearing. Once you tap on it, it will give you this animation, which means now you are talking to a specific person. So when you send a message, that means this message is directed to this person specifically. And if you want to reply to a specific message, which is called inline reply, you can tap and hold on the message. You have the option called reply, tap on it, and you will get a different or a separate conversation where you can talk to that person. And once you're done, tap anywhere and you will see here the number of replies. Okay, and in addition to this bracket where you can identify which part of the conversation is only directed to that person or to you. Another feature you get here is called hide alerts. When you tap and hold on any conversation, either pinned or unpinned, you can tap on hide alerts. And in this case, it will get the do not disturb icon next to it, which means you will not get any notifications from this conversation. And to take it off, just tap and hold again and then tap on show alerts. And if you did the same thing in a group conversation, it will act a little bit different. If someone send a message in the group, you will not get any alert. But if someone mentioned you specifically in the group, that's when you will start getting alerts from the group, even if you have the option turned on. And now you can also change the name and the photo of the group by tapping on the top area and then tap on info, then tap on change name and photo. Here you can choose the camera, the gallery, you have emojis, and you have a text option. And here you have some stickers and also and emojis. And when you assign a photo to the group, as you see here, the most recent participants circle now showing on the edge instead of the middle. And regarding the hide alerts feature under messages, if you still don't want to get notified if someone mentioned you in a group conversation, you can go to settings and then messages, and then scroll down a little bit. You will see a new section here called mentions, and under that you have notify me toggle. If you turn it off, even if someone mentioned you in a group conversation, you will not be notified. And if you want to keep it, you can turn it on from here. Now let's talk about Memojis, and the first thing you get is under hairstyle. You will get 7 new hairstyles with iOS 14. And when you go to head, you will get 6 new age options that can make you older or younger. And when you go to headwear, here you will get 16 new headwear styles, something like the helmet, for example, and also the face mask. And once you create your Memoji, you will get those 3 new stickers. You also get a revamped facial and muscle structure that makes your Memoji and the Memoji stickers more expressive. Next, voice memos. Now you can create folders to organize your recordings, and you will have this new icon at the bottom right corner that looks like a folder. When you tap on it, you're gonna give it a name, save it, and now you have a new folder. And if you want to copy a specific recording to this folder, you can swipe to the left and you will have the folder icon, tap on it, and then choose the folder you want to copy it to. I'm gonna choose test, and this recording is now under test. And if you want to record directly inside this folder, you can open it first and then start your recording. So here I'm recording in the test folder, and it will be showing here straight away. You also can mark your recordings as favorite by tapping on the 3 dots, and then you have a new option here called favorite. And once you do this, they will be added to a specific folder where you can access them quicker. And to access the folder, just go back to the folders view and you will see a new folder automatically created called favorites, where you can quickly reach those recordings. Also, the Voice Memos app will create 2 other folders, one for the recently deleted recordings and the other one for Apple Watch recordings. One more feature called enhanced recording, and that should decrease any background noise while recording. Next, the reminders app, and it got a lot of new features. First of all, you have the ability to create a new reminder from the home screen by tapping on the new reminder button, fill in all the details, and then choose the list you want to add it to. The next feature you get is the ability to assign certain reminders to certain people. And for example, if you have a list like this, you need to add some participants to the list first. And in this case, you're going to tap on the 3 dots at the top, tap on add people, and you will be able to share the link. And once they tap on the link, you will be able to assign reminders to them. And I have here a list already that has some participants, and I'm gonna show you how to assign a person. Here you tap on the reminder and then tap on the eye, and you will get, if you scroll a little bit down, something called assign reminder. Tap on it and you will get the list of participants, so you can assign the reminder to them. And you will get this little profile picture at the top right corner of the reminder to let you know that this reminder is assigned to someone. And when you tap on this small circle, here you see the ability to view the contact, reassign it to someone else, or remove the assignment, and it will go away. Next, the new enhanced calendar picker. When you create a new reminder and tap on the eye, turn on the date switch, now you get a different view to easily pick the day you want, and you can scroll through the days, and you can tap here to change the year and the month, and tap again to return back to the calendar view. And when you turn on the time switch, you can set it in a separate place. In iOS 13, both will appear in the same place, so it's harder to set. Also, the new Reminders app will suggest for you the date, time, and location based on the previous reminders you created in the past. You can also make changes to multiple reminders at the same time. If you tapped on the 3 dots at the top right corner, tap on Select Reminders, select more than one reminder, and then you tap on the calendar icon at the bottom left corner, and you will be able to apply the change for more than one reminder at the same time. You can change the date, the time, or make it repetitive or just a normal reminder. You also have a new way to change the appearance of your lists by tapping on the three dots, name and appearance, and now you have a new emoji button right here, and when you tap on it you get access to all the emojis, and you can pick one and then tap on done, get back to your home, and it will appear right here. Now you can also edit the smart lists. Here you can either hide them altogether or you can reorganize them by tapping on the edit button at the top, and you can hide whatever you want or you can reorganize all of them. You also get an improved search that can allow you to locate any reminder based on the name of the person, the location, or the detailed notes you added to the reminder. And now, because you have the ability to assign reminders to a certain person, if you go to settings and then go to reminders, you will see here a new option called assignment notifications, and when you turn it on, you will get notified if someone assigned a reminder to you, and if you don't want this notification, just turn it off. Now let's talk about Apple Music. First of all, you got this new Listen Now tab that includes a lot of ways to help you discover new songs. It has things like top picks, stations for you, recently played, the type of songs you are listening to, and new releases, and so on and so forth. There is also a new feature called autoplay. If the songs you are playing ended, the phone will automatically suggest related songs and keep playing them for you. You also get an improved search, so you can search songs using the genre, using the activity, or using your mood. So for example, if you type here happy, it will give you songs related to that. And if you type hip hop, again, the same thing, or running, for example. So it will suggest songs for you based on your search query, not only based on the name of the song or the artist you are looking for. Now under the music app settings, there is a new option called Use Listening History, and this option is for the Listen Now feature that we saw in Apple Music app. And it says here in the definition, music played on this iPhone will be seen by your followers on Apple Music. And it will also influence the recommendations you get in Listen Now. So when you turn this feature on, you should get better recommendations to your music under the Listen Now tab of Apple Music. Now let's talk about notes. Here, if you have a folder that includes more than one note and you wanted to pin multiple notes, now you can collapse and expand the pinned notes in your folder. The next feature you get is called shape recognition. So if you want to draw something using your hand, it will try to make the shape perfect for you. So I'm gonna try to draw a triangle here, pause few seconds, and the phone will automatically detect the shape I want and it will make it perfect. And also here a square, and so on. The other thing you get is a new enhanced action menu. First, you get those three dots at the top. When you tap on them, you will get the ability to quickly scan a document, pin the note, lock it, or delete it. There is also a new gesture for styling your text. If you type any text and you want to quickly convert it to a heading, bold, or anything, you can tap and hold on the styling icon and then drag your finger on top of the style you want. Let's say heading, it will convert it to heading, or you can return it back to what it was. You should also get an enhanced scanning that works better with edges if you are scanning a document, and auto cropping them. That should be better in iOS 14. Now let's talk about Safari, and here you get 4 major updates. And the first one is the ability to translate websites in different languages by tapping this icon here in your address bar, and you should get an option to translate your website. I tried so many websites in different languages, but it didn't show up on my phone. Maybe I have an issue, but anyways, that's how you activate it. Tap on the icon and then tap on translate. And if you want to get back to original, tap on the icon again and tap on view original. The second feature you get is something called the tracking report, and you can get it by tapping the same icon again and then tap on tracking report. Here you will get a summary telling you that 80 known trackers has been prevented and 72% of your websites contacted trackers. And if you want to know the trackers per website, you can scroll down, you will see this graph, and that will show you which website is the worst. And you can tap on the website name to check the trackers contacted by this website. And that's pretty much it. I'm not sure if that's gonna help me really in real life, but anyways, it gives you an idea about the good websites and the bad websites. The third feature you get is called password monitoring. And if you have any saved password in Safari, it will automatically keep an eye on this password and compare it against other passwords that are involved in any data breach. And if your password is sharing the same characteristics, Safari will give you hints that you need to change this password to make it better to avoid any data breach in the future. Or it can suggest to use sign in with Apple instead. And finally, better performance. Apple claims that Safari in iOS 14 is now 2 times faster than before. Now let's talk about the privacy, and in iOS 14, Apple is trying to make you in control of everything. And the first change here is under the camera. When you launch the camera, you will see this green dot at the top, which means your camera is in use. And that happens with third-party apps and native apps. Either the app is in the foreground or the background. And also the same thing for the mic. When you start recording, you will see this red dot at the top. And also that happens the same way as the camera. There are also a couple of new options under settings. When you go to settings and then go to privacy and then go to location services, and tap on any of the apps that can access your location, you will see here a new switch called Precise Location. If you have it off, the phone will share an approximate location with the app, and when you have it on, it will share the actual location. The other option under privacy is called tracking, and when you go inside, you will see a switch here called Allow Apps to Request to Track, and when you have it turned on, developers will need to ask you first before tracking your activity across apps and websites. And when you turn it off, you will not give them the chance to even request to track your device. I can even give a limited access to my photo library to any third-party app. And for example, I have here Instagram. And when I tap on the plus sign to share a photo, here I have 3 options. And the first one is called Select Photos, and this is new to iOS 14. And when you tap on Select Photos, here you can multi-select specific photos that Instagram can access, and it will not be able to access any other photos from your gallery. And once you are happy with the choices, you can tap on Done, and as you see, Instagram can only access these photos and nothing else. And if you want to modify your selection later, you can go to Settings and then Privacy and then go to Photos and then choose Instagram, and here you have a new option called Edit Selected Photos, and here you can modify your selection to add more photos or to remove some of them, or you can change to all photos or none. Also, developers can give the option to their existing app accounts to upgrade to sign in with Apple without the need to create a new account, and that will improve users' privacy. Also, the App Store will help you see a summary of the privacy practices for this app before you download it, but this feature will be available later this year. Next, the new design of the App Store. Here I have iOS 13.5 on iPhone 7 Plus and iOS 14 on iPhone 11 Pro Max. And you will see some differences in design. First of all, the download button here is called Get, and here it's a cloud icon. And in this area, you get more information. You can scroll through it, but here it's static, and you only get 3 pieces of information, which are the ratings, the chart, the ranking, and the age. While here you get the ranking, the ratings and the age, and also you can contact the developer from here, or you can tap on the language icon to get access to the languages supported by this app, and finally get quick access to the app size. While here, to get this information, you need to scroll down to reach the information section to get the size, to contact the developer, and so on. So now they are putting the important information on the top. Next, you get the What's New section, while here you have the What's New section in the middle of the page. Here you also get a new section called Preview. It's not a new section, but it has a different name. So it's called Preview, while here it doesn't have any name. And here the screenshots are rounded, but here it has sharp edges and it doesn't have a name. And that's pretty much it. It's a kind of reorganizing things, putting the most important information at the top. Now let's talk about the keyboard. And the first feature you get is the on-device dictation, which means if you are using the keyboard dictation, everything happens on the device and it doesn't get sent over to the server to be converted to an actual text, which is gonna improve your privacy. And the second feature, when you tap on the emojis icon, now you can search your emojis instead of keep looking for them. And the third feature is called Contacts Autofill in third-party apps. And for example, if a third-party app is requesting access to your contacts to be able to pick the contact you want, you can simply use the keyboard to autofill all the details of your contact without giving access to this application. In iOS 14, we should be able to set a default browser and a default mail client other than the native apps of iOS. However, I downloaded Google Chrome and the Gmail apps, and as per the documentation, that should happen when you click on any link or compose a new message in the Mail app. But it didn't work for me. Maybe it will be implemented in the future. So that's pretty much it. Those are all the changes I have for this video. And I know the video is really long and I will be really impressed if you are watching till this point. And I know I didn't talk about some apps like the Maps, CarPlay, and also the Translation app, because these apps are restricted in my area, so I will not be able to show them on camera. And the review is already really long. I didn't want to even make it longer. So please let me know in the comments what do you think about iOS 14. And if you like my video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching.